The time is 7:04 p.m. on Sunday, November 7th, 2021, Berlin time. You are listening to Eric on the World. I'm your host, Eric, getting this one out on time, catching up here. There's something about this apartment I'm staying in is amazing. It is, truthfully, of all the apartments I've seen in Berlin, probably the best one, including friends' apartments. And I'm staying in it, luckily, for free until the 25th, and then it's on to the next thing, whatever that is. But there's something about having your own space and not feeling like you're living out of a backpack, and having a separate living room. There's something really important about separating where you sleep from where you eat, from where you fuck, from where you work. And this apartment is big enough to separate all those things out. Not that I necessarily do, but I feel like I'm on track. I'm being a little bit better about getting shit done. I went for a run the other day, and I mistakenly said last week that the sun's setting at 5:30, forgetting that had been launched into the daylight savings time, or standard time, which Germany had voted to not switch back and forth. They hadn't decided whether or not they were going to stay in daylight savings time or standard time, but I think the consensus was that people wanted summertime. But for whatever reason, they never implemented that. So, in fact, we went back to standard time, meaning that the days are getting dark at about 4:25 now, sadly. That said, I went on a run, and even though I was running at 5 p.m., it ended up being a night run. And it occurred to me, unless maybe I did this in high school, it's possible, but I don't know that I've ever gone on a night run in my life, and it was fucking fantastic. It was exhilarating. It was, I get pretty hot when I run, so it was like the perfect amount of like crisp coolness. You didn't have like the sun bearing down on you, and I don't know, there was something kind of mystical and cool about it. Berlin, for whatever reason, doesn't put lights in their parks, and I'm thinking that it goes back to their whole like being super energy conscious and like afraid to use light or like energy for light. Like right when you go through the hallways in apartments, there's not in like the stairwells, there's not lights unless you push a button that you have to find on the wall. So many times I have almost fallen taking a misstep trying to find this button. So again, that would be a huge, massive fire code violation in the States. But here, just to be energy efficient. But that's the only reason I can think that they don't have fucking lights in the parks. Otherwise, it's like literally like just like a cliche of like going through a walk in a dark park at night and possibly getting raped. There's no lights, but it kind of made it cool because basically, I just had to rely on my shitty night vision and just my sense of remembering the paths that I run. But really was like mentally very good for me. But I don't know that I would have had the motivation in my last place, just because I felt so gross in that place. Like just basically my bed was where I had to eat, work on my computer, all that kind of stuff. So very happy to be here for the time that I am able to be here. After that, I don't know. Again, Budapest, if I can't find a job by then, maybe it makes sense to just go home through Christmas. I don't know. More on how awesome this place is. The guy, Dennis, here, he has 2 record players, and I have truthfully never played a record in my life. I've never physically put a record on a record player and played it. And I've played, I don't know, 6 or 7 records now. And there's just something so fucking classy feeling about sitting back on a couch, putting the needle on the player, sitting back, pouring a glass of wine, and just letting the physical vibrations move through the air into your ear. Definitely feels like a cool, classy thing for me, and for others, it's like a really fucking bachelor move to have this record play here. So man, I'm again so grateful to have this apartment. Really appreciative of that, and I think it's been very good for my mental health. In other news, I got to go to brunch today because I finally woke up on time on a Sunday to do it. I went with a friend, went to Tucker Brunch Bar. It's an Australian brunch bar in like Prenzlauer Berg. Pretty far to get to, but worth it because the Germans, there's not a sense of brunch culture here. Like any place where there is brunch, it's like they go to actually eat the food as opposed and they go like early to do it. You know, when I had my roommates a year ago, it's like, okay, let's get brunch at 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. First of all, who the fuck is up at that time? Unless you haven't gone to sleep. And also, then you're just eating like very delicately, quietly eating this. And it's like, no, brunch is supposed to be about being loud with loud music and obnoxious and bottomless mimosas and getting drunk and continuing on your inebriation from the night before so you don't get hungover. Right? You get sloppy and hook up with someone in the bathroom. That's what brunch is supposed to be about. They don't have that culture here. The Australian places are kind of the closest it gets to it, but still, nonetheless, it's really lacking. And I don't think there's any bottomless mimosas in Berlin. I Googled it and I couldn't find any. Sitting on a gold mine there, that would definitely be a game changer for the culture. But yeah, went to brunch, and then the only downside to this place, apart from how far it is in the cost, because the food's great, customer service is great, but they only have one toilet for the whole place. And Germany in general is very good about their bathrooms. Like you can go to the dingiest of dive bars, and the toilets are still decent. Like you feel comfortable sitting down on them. Not the case at all in the States, right? Forget dive bar. Like standard restaurants have disgusting toilets, let alone a dive bar. No way would you go in there. Right, there's just like fucking shit and cigarettes everywhere. Well, anyway, I went to take a shit because I always have my stomach issues, as we talked about last week, and I learned to wipe while sitting. You may know if you've listened to this podcast or me for the last 10 years that there is a massive divide and an unknown divide for most people between people who wipe while sitting and wipe while standing. And then there's some people who wipe from the front, which is a whole other breed I can't understand. But I was a stander for the longest time. I did not understand the mechanics of sitting. I was taught to wipe standing when I was a kid. I believe that's how my nieces have been taught, and that's how my parents and my sister do it. Yeah, when I was in Southeast Asia and you had to use the bum gun to clean yourself because you can't flush the toilet paper, you have to put it in the fucking trash can. So you want to use that water gun, you have to put it behind you and get out as much as you can. That taught me the mechanics of putting something behind me and getting it up into my ass. And that is how I learned to sit while wiping. So it's not without its drawbacks, right? And today I went to wipe and put the toilet paper in the fucking thing, and then I go to do like a flush in between, right? Because I got to use a lot of paper so it doesn't clog. And I turn around and there's shit all over the seat because as I was dropping the paper in, I guess it turned around or something. And yeah, so then I had to clean my own shit off of the toilet seat. Didn't have any cleaning products, just had to use. The ambulances are way too loud here and fucking. It's really hurts your ears if you're on the street. But anyway, yeah, no cleaning products, just water, and feeling very sorry for whoever had to sit down on that thing after me. But I don't know. My stomach is so messed up. I've gotten the colonoscopy. I've gotten everything done. Even with dietary changes, I don't know. Maybe I'm lactose intolerant. I got to see if they have something like Lactaid here in Germany because it's untenable. I mean, I'm having diarrhea like 5 to 6 times a day, and that's more or less been my life as an adult. Regardless, certainly it's exacerbated by eating certain foods and drinking alcohol, but even when I'm not doing that, it's not much better. So if you have any hot tips about that, let me know at ericontheworldpodcast@gmail.com. I'm going to head to Sunday Slips. You guys should come every week, whether or not I'm there, at Zoom Crocodile in Neukölln, here in Berlin. It's an awesome open mic, and I talk about it a lot. I enjoy it a lot. It's like a little family there. And it starts in 16 minutes. So I'm going to sign off, and go do that. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, I got 2 weeks left here before I got to find another place. Once I get some stability again, I would love to have guests come on here. So I do appreciate you hanging in there and listening to me. Follow me at Eric on the World on Instagram. Otherwise, no matter where you are in the world, till next week, be well and be loved.